and I'm gonna keep it under 30. I'm gonna do my best, because I'd rather do it that way. Just drop 30 minutes and then post it, 30 minutes, post it, 30 minutes, post it. And I got so much information because there's a lot going on, but ain't nothing really going on right now. This is Volothan Modulus Tautology, here to drop another knowledge, wisdom, and understanding movement. I still on my hip hop tip because way back in the days when hip hop began, and I don't want y'all to skip on by that fast because there he goes again talking that rap music, but nah, it's more than music. It's a culture, it's a consciousness, it's a creativity, it's it's a way of life, right? Like, we've been doing this for since the '70s, but it actually there is no true beginning, and that was the lesson that the teacher gave us. Karis one shout out to, Rakim shout out to him, EPMD, can't forget Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap, Master Ace. Now that's my favorite. Next to Killer Priest and Wu Tang Clan, but we'll get into all of that. I just so many names to shout out, and that's what we used to do on the records back in the day. I remember getting the King of Rock with Run DMC and reading out all the shout outs. Just the shout outs alone used to be on there. And I don't think they had the lyrics on that album. Chuck D and they just dropped the lyrics. So we used to buy the albums just to get the lyrics that came with it. And then, shout outs and thanks. They always give thanks to all the different rap artists and groups that came before them or that was with them, and et cetera, because that's what we did. We knew back then that we were in a community, a consciousness, a culture. We were our own quote unquote socialism. You know what I mean? And that's what they're afraid of. You know what I mean? We build in our own little society like ants in a colony. To give a shout out to Dead Prez, M1, and dang, what is geez, my bad. There's so much to go through, so many people to give shout outs to, and of course we're gonna get to Dead Prez. That's one of my favorite groups also, in the culture. But we all fighting over who's the goat, and they I just seen them give it to LL, and it's like nah. But I like LL. LL's my man. I mess with LL, even though he did block me on Twitter, but it's all good. But it's a part of the thing. Like it's beef, but it ain't beef. You know what I mean? It's just to show that you ain't chicken. You know what I mean? And there it is. Where are we going to start? I'm what I have on my screen. I'm just outlining that I have three circles, interconnected. It's a Venn diagram, and the different books that they have. From 1984 to Hunger Games to Brave New World, Animal Farm. They all movies too. And therein is the correlation between Hollywood and the truth behind it is because most of the movies, or they all come from books, and then they make them into screenplays, and then they make them into movies, and there it is. That's how Hollywood came to be. Also got the dreaded scene before Martin Luther King was assassinated. And this one I'm sharing because of the four fraternity brothers. They were four different fraternities. I'm not even. I got to double check on that. I don't even know how true that is. But it's the alphas, the kappas, the qs, and the sigmas is what we even though it's that's not an iota. That's a theta, beta, sigma. So me getting to relearn the Greek alphabet, even though I know it, and because I studied mathematics, and we use those symbols as far as and addition symbols and numbers from 1 to 9, and then the repeating aspect of them, as 10, 11, 12, and then 21, 22, 23, and so on and so forth. And then the usage of letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G into a numerical system, and why we did those type of things mathematically as a counting system to expand upon, but to shrink this massive infinite number, whatever this infinite number is, down to that symbol of a 8 turned to its side. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when you put a plus on the end or a minus, you're looking at either outer space and what is beyond this outermost infinite point. If we add 1 to it, it's still that plus infinity. Or if we go inner space and go down and as a single point that's infinitely small, and we get to the smallest point of that, how small that point can be, we still have a negative infinity. There's a negative point even smaller, and how negative and positive is actually direction more so than good or evil. But we'll get to that point soon one day. And I had to share Roland Martin because he's the big fat pig, you know. We started over with Goldilocks and the Goldilocks and Three Bears, but the three pigs, which should have been, you know, the three pigs with the wolf blowing the house down. He's not the wolf. He's a big fat pig. There's a difference, right? And he represents the alphas, right? And that's what Martin Luther King was. And it's like, we as black people, we're at the point now, we like, dude, sit down and shut up, right? You're not a leader. You are a big fat pig, and we're tired of you using malinformation, or whatever you want to call it, that negative position or false pride is what it truly is. Greed is nothing more than false pride as well. And he's using that to sell us out to the Democratic Party. Just keep it 100. And then that wasn't Martin Luther King Jr.'s plan. That's why we have to stop. We have to, if that party dies, let it die. And whatever we call this new party, you know, I mean, my suggestion is, you know, foundational American, because I'm a foundational black American. And why we use that term black as a term of endearment rather than a term of being a mental slave, which is what they want us to think when we say black. They want us to think that you're a mental slave, but we say black is eternal. It means my eternal, not internal, but eternal love for God is forever and ever 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 and ever. But we're going to go over these books again too. But I just wanted to start it off with this forward diagram to show you all the different chambers and how the centermost point is where we at. That is where we are. We are that center point right there. And then I started building it up to American politics. And that's when we did the Republicans and then the Democrats, right? Then they came along. And then we had that center point. And what that center was, I guess, the part that intersects them. And they're saying that that's the central, that's the independent. So remember, like I did this on you know, this is the same. Quick, I'm running through it quickly again for you. That's where we are. That's the centralists. Like, no, that ain't us. We ain't got nothing to do with that right there. And then, you know, I called it the origin because you have to have, you know, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, who was George Washington, and then after him was John Adams, and then Thomas Jefferson, right? They all got to be involved with the origin of this country, which I explained that Thomas Jefferson was the Republican. Then Andrew Jackson came with the Democrats, and I'm being fast with it. I did it on a previous podcast, and I know I've got to repeat it over and over again because people don't do their homework. But if you're caught up, so now. It's what is that center point? It's not I just called it the origin out of respect of what they tried to create when they said we the people of the United States of America in order to perform, right? I used to know the preamble by the top of my head. I'll get back to that one day. Right now I'm on some, I'm not afraid to date. I give myself permission to be all that I can be. New fields of divine activity now open for me, right? So I'm on that tip right now, which is the hip hop. So it comes from the two circles interlapping comes from a mathematical idea, which is from Latin. And did I put that yet? No, that's not. Right here. Here it is. The Visicus Pisces, or P. I gotta learn how to pronounce it. The Visicus Pisces, right? And of course, it has its definition. It's quote unquote the fish's bladder, and but we'll get into more of the definition, where it comes from, where this idea of the two circles coming together, where as we start to build our way up to 4 circles being interconnected, like I started with, being the set theory and what each chamber means as we add more and more political parties. And of course, like I said, my 3rd political party, I'm dealing with foundational Black Americans. I'm going all the way back to 1526. I'm talking about the first slavery revolt. When you know what I mean, and this is where you have to give shout outs to Professor Black Truth, Jason Black, and of course Tariq Nasheed. But as soon as I say Tariq Nasheed, who I guess he patented this flag, it's he has the patent. We the people gotta own it, and whenever we release patents or whatever to the people, the public, the quote unquote enemy takes it and all over it, right? What I'm doing time wise, 11 minutes. Okay, so I'm done. And then the tree of knowledge, and as I add to the tree of knowledge, and then the next phase is that 3rd political party, which is an independent party, and I'll get into more explaining how they interlocked, what it means to be independent, it means to be outside of the Democratic Republic ideologies, and how we're going to build this foundational American party, or whatever y'all want to call it. You know what I mean? Or like we can call it the foundational party, and then the other party could be the American party, because there's more than 2, 3, 4 political parties. You need at least 4, honestly, in order to solve the 4-color theorem. And we'll get into more into that also as we keep going on into the mathematics. So what do I have today? I have Demetria Cater with me today. Let me switch my screen up a little bit, because I'm still talking about foundational Black Americans, what we represent and everything. I have a little bit of I'm going with a little Demetria K today. Shout out to her. She's going to recap some of the things that's going on in, I think Chicago is this one based on. No, this might not be based on the Chicago one, but it's Black Mayors. So this one is going to be a recap of Black Mayors. She's going to be with Donovan Sadiq. He's a former Democrat, and now it sounds like he's down with the independent movement. And I hope if he sees this, right, and take my quick, description of what the 3rd, 4th political parties should look like, because we should technically have 4 political parties as opposed to 2. The reason why they want us to only have 2 is because if they limit the ideas, you can stay control of quote unquote racism in a form called white supremacy, right? If we own it, both sides of the argument, we own it, right? But notice when you put 4 sides of the argument, it's harder to own. That's where we need to be headed to as a country, nation, et cetera, so, but I'll go more and more about those ideas, and they're coming straight from the art of logical thinking or the laws of reasoning. And we'll of course talk more about that. But I'm gonna jump right into this video. Let me end it with this right here, because I started this whole conversation with my son back when he was in 3rd grade. He came home from school and talked about Ruby Bridges. And I was like, that's beautiful. Ruby Bridges. You and Ruby Bridges have something in common, is what I was explaining it to him, because it was only him and another Black child who's actually like a red bone. It was another immigrant child that had, brown skin. So it was only like three of them in the third grade together, and those three weren't in the same class. Um, I think the other two might have been in the other class. So he might have. I think he was the only. And well, they mixed the classes up a little bit, right? Yeah, they mixed the classes up a little bit. So he did get to talk to them also, because they try to mix them up, and we get it. But it is the process of diversifying, not the process of desegregating. The process of desegregation is when you start talking about things like gentrification, and that's a bad thing because it is the leadership is still quote unquote white supremacy. If we say that the leadership is like myself, foundational Black American, that's when you get the fraud people point at foundational Black Americans say that we're Black supremacy or we're reverse racism or they'll get into those very ignorant arguments or conversations. So it way back in the days it was hey, we have white pride, so we naturally as Black Americans we say hey, we got Black pride. And then somehow it turned into rainbow pride, and that's really an abomination. But we'll get more into that later on in life too, in an explanation too, because I don't want to. That's when it becomes you're anti or you hate LGBT and all that ignorant. Well, it's not gender; it's the quote unquote sexuality that we don't want our children to be exposed to that type of, fornication or whatever word you want to use. So, but I'm PG-13, 14. My son's 14 now. That's why I'm able to use these terminologies to say no, those are bad words. But so instead of shit, I say poo. Still, but y'all know, I drink a little wine. The F-bombs might come out, when talking about false pride and the ignorant pretending to be ignorant just to be ignorant, or like I was told recently that I'm being a jackass just to be a jackass, and it's like nah, you just your judgment is off because you're consumed by woke Jesus, and that's a lot of people in this world. A lot of people are caught up in woke Jesus, and y'all really need to go back over the word, So, but yeah, my son started with Ruby Bridges, and that's when I introduced Claudette Colvin. I just told him her name. She's 14-year-old, and she refused to give up her seat in the bus. And then I also gave him Emmett Till. Did I tell him Emmett Till called a white woman beautiful, and then they whipped his ass like no one ever nobody ever did, like murdered him, whipping his ass? No, I didn't explain all that to him, and how white people did that very heinous act or crime, should I say? And but I am upset with my elders, because and that's when it goes back to the baby boomers, talking about the two. Y'all know who I'm talking about, Al Sharpton, and how now they found the gun, and it's like, Al, we don't care about the gun. All we know is that, or what I'm teaching my son is that Emmett Till was from Chicago, and it is a travesty that we're getting shot up in Chicago, and most of the time, the person that's spraying up Emmett Till today is Emmett Till's cousin or brother, or you know what I mean, black, same person. And then as soon as we say Charlie Kirk get killed by another white person, we say that, then it's, well, why are you making it racial? The hypocrites are notorious to act like they, them is them, they. Now, we can get back into that debate and argument also, but I'm going to get into the video right now as I keep dropping these jewels. That's that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what in the world were you just talking about? I'm taking my time with it. Just know that, it's more than true or false. is true, false, or maybe. Um, just because you know you don't know um, the difference between a tautology and a contradiction, um, don't act like the indeterminate is you, like you're the lord of that or the lady of that, and that's where the hypocrisy starts to come in. So follow them. Oh, it's farming game week. Well, it was. I'll do a little. I'm gonna do a little farming game demo right after this brief message, and I hope y'all enjoy the whole thing. I'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, on in the black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. I like to say that we are not live, but we'll be live later at 5 p.m. Central Time. So please make sure that you show up for that as it will be a great conversation with you all. Today, we're going to be talking about the black mayors around America and, certain cities are under attack. That's the narrative. And so, of course, we're going to have a good conversation about that. Of course, that comes off of the heels of President Donald Trump announcing that he is going to invoke the Home Rule Act 740, which says that he should be able to federalize the police there in DC because of special circumstances call for it. Of course, we also know that he told all the homeless people, you need to get out of here immediately, right? Of course, he's also saying that crime is out of control. So he has to take over. And he's also mentioned some other things. I watched the whole press conference yesterday, so we're going to get into that. Donovan, what say you?
I say good morning to you. Good morning. It is today's the 12th, I guess, or no, the 11th, whatever it is. But anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Demetra K podcast. Good to see you guys with us, and good to see you guys back. Great to hear your opinions about this. It's awesome. But do us a favor. You want to keep these great conversations going. There's ways you can do that. There's a scrolling banner at the bottom, and you could promote and contribute uh, what Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash, Money Order, all that other great stuff. Also, do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. There, you're going to see not only what you see on YouTube. A lot of people don't understand. You also get videos that are not on YouTube from Vicky Dillard, Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, and a plethora of contributors there all around the African diaspora. A lot of stuff is going on in the African diaspora. You guys pay attention to what is going on in Africa. It is very important that you guys go there, and also what's going on in the Caribbean. As you guys know, they are cleaning up a lot of areas in the Caribbean, not only in the Dominican Republic. There was a big situation there where the Attorney General of Dominican Republic has started Operation Atlantico, and that is to clean up the areas and bring more tourism to the island. Now, this type of attitude has spread to Colombia as well and a lot of other Latin and Caribbean countries. So, African Diaspora News Channel, that's where I get a lot of my information when I want to know what's going on in the African diaspora. But as far as this Donald Trump thing, and Dimitri, I'm gonna say this: it's amazing to me how, as much as we challenge people to challenge us, Google it, because I do not believe you yourself, me myself, Brother Phil Scott, and other contributors out there willingly put out lies. But I will say this, Demetra, and I think it's true. You want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book, put it in knowledge. We people are walking around with smartphones in their hands, and they do not even do the bare basics of Googling what a person is saying. One thing about this show I can say is we challenge everybody. Don't listen to what we're saying. Don't just listen. Research what we're saying. And if we're wrong, please come back and tell us we're wrong. We have no problem learning from you guys as much as you guys learn from us. So this is going to be an interesting topic. I've got an opinion about it. I'm sure you guys have an opinion about it. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into it for the second time. So again, President Donald Trump, y'all might have seen it all over the place, or whether you saw it in its entirety, where he got with that of Pam Bondi, Attorney General, Cash Patel, the director of the FBI, Pete Hegseth. He was there. He is he's over the military, whatever it is, and some other people.
Secretary of Defense, a major in the Army Reserves.
Yeah,
Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, he was Secretary of Defense. And Janine Pirro, she is a judge, but she spent a lot of time on television. And even Trump talked about her, being a celebrity, but now he's made her the assistant something judge in Washington, D.C. or something. Anyway, so they were sitting up there talking about why he needed to take over D.C., the police department to be exact, and talked about the National Guards being deployed because there's a homeless problem and there's a crime problem. Now, of course, we know that also comes off of the heels of a staffer, former Doge staffer to be exact, that was attacked allegedly while he was with a female companion in Washington, D.C. He was beat up, and so was this companion. So all hell broke loose there on Washington, and Trump feels like that is a good enough reason for him to take over, which it sounds like it's something he wanted to do anyway. But from that, it came this narrative that, oh my God, he's attacking all of the cities with black mayors. Now he spoke all about black cities with black mayors, and this is a snippet of some of the narrative.
Look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. Baltimore and Oakland, we don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone.
The reality is that DC's violent crime is at a 30-year low. I think it's very notable that each and every one of the cities called out by the president has a black mayor. My city in Baltimore, we have the fewest amount of homicides through this date on record. That's 50 years, a 50-year low. Maybe we are too far gone from the broken right-wing policies of zero-tolerance policing and all the things that did not make our city safer for all those many years. We know that having the military there is not the way to do it. The way to drive down violence in cities has been proving. Mayors across the country have brought together law enforcement, the legal community, the actual community through community violence intervention work to reduce violence across this country in cities to lows that we have not seen in decades. The president could learn a lot from us instead of throwing things at us.
So, okay, that was Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore, Maryland. So again, and Oakland, I believe, was ran by Michelle. No, not Michelle Wu, but she's Asian, nevertheless, so she's not black.
Yeah, she was impeached or kicked out. Now it's what's her name? Congressman. She was a congressman. She voted against the Iraq War and stuff like that. She just won mayor. She just won the mayorship. So Wu was thrown out.
Okay, so I don't think is it Michelle Wu? I think she's somewhere else. Anyway, okay, so he's saying, along with a lot of other people, that the narrative is that he being Trump is attacking, all black mayors, cities with black mayors. And I've heard quite a few people say that. Oh, this it seems like it's calculated. He's only going after them. Well, the truth of the matter is we know that, I would say disproportionately black cities, right, ran by black mayors or have black misleadership typically is not good. Now, Brandon Scott is right in saying that there is a major dip in crime in Baltimore. It just is, right? Also with Washington, D.C., it is at like a 35% all-time low within, I think, the last 30 years. This was reported last year. But in regards to black Americans, because this is thrown out as red meat to get black Americans all riled up, like, Trump is going after black cities. But what it does is it does not allow us to have the conversation, and that yes, black, and I'm gonna say misleadership is a problem everywhere for the most part, that there is black misleadership. Black Americans are the most impoverished. They are the most victims of crime and everything you can think of, right? Now also think about Atlanta, who also has black misleadership. Now, it was a report that went out not too long ago stating that Atlanta is one of the number one cities of gentrification, right? Gentrification is rampant there. like no.
And there it is. Stardew Valley, And like I was saying, this was because I've been I guess I've been slacking. I can make 100,000 videos. I think I'm already at the 30-minute mark. I'm at the exact 30-minute mark, so I'm not even going to rap about it too much. This is Stardew Valley. This is a farming game. So this was supposed to have been farming game week. I'm gonna play this game a little bit and share what the concept is or ideas of farming games. Since I missed this week, I'm gonna do my best to do 2-3 videos a day. I'm gonna do a couple. That way I can do something other than farming games. And because next week, because I'm trying to get into every week being a different gaming quote unquote genre, and then that way we can understand what a hip hop gaming genre or hip hop genre would be as far as gaming. Because we seem confused when saying that this is hip hop and you point at the movie and it's a whack movie. Like, nah, that ain't hip hop. Who told you that was hip hop? Same with music. Like, that's not hip hop. There's a lot of rappers out here that's like, nah, that ain't right. Now, who told you that this dude was hip hop? You know what I mean? That's what's actually going on, and it gets frustrating. Shout out again to Dimitri K and my man, what's his name? Donovan Sadiq. I followed his page, and I've been following her and building my YouTube. Subscribe. I need more subscribers. Hold on, let me share a little bit of this here. I had one more. Like I overplan, and then that way, my voice still coming through. It should be. Showing you a demo of Stardew Valley because it's actually out for the Switch 2, and the concept that they shown with the Switch 2 version is that you can game share it, and as far as what can game share can be, I mess with my son all the time. Like, game sharing can be a return of the Wii U, but we'll get into the technical sides of all that as well. But and to finish off what they were talking about, for the younger people, I'm from Philadelphia, PA, and Wilson Good was the first black mayor of Philadelphia, and I know he wasn't the first black mayor in America, but he might have been third. That's what we're talking about. A black mayor is still a new concept. This was the 80s, so that's still a new concept. A black police officer is still a kind of a new concept. That's what we're talking about. These are new concepts. Back, prior to 1960, 1950, 1930s, right, as you go back in time, there was a movement from the South to the North. And my parents were a part of that, kinda. They was, children when they moved, from the South to the North up here. And that's gentrification. That's what we're talking about. It's so yes, some Southerners, I even heard, I ain't pointing at nobody right now, but I've heard Southerners say, y'all moved to the North and never came back, type of the thing, or you move out the hood and you never came back, is what Umar Johnson would say all the time. Like, like they blame us for, or people that's in the hood. And it's like, dude, I'm still in the hood. It's just that I live in the suburbs a little. We moved out, you know what I mean? But I'm 10 minutes away, a little bit more than 10 minutes, but it's, but I'm 2 minutes away from this urban city, like there's more than one urban city in, the eastern or the southern eastern corner of Pennsylvania, called Philadelphia. It's in Jersey, Camden is probably, Camden, yeah, I guess Camden. I hope not I'm offending any of my Camden friends, right? because they would, they used to be, hey, this is the suburbs. This is the suburbs. Same with Norristown, same with Conchie. So, but shout out to all my Philadelphians, and yes, there is borders, and Philadelphia is no place like no other. And we all Eagles fans, we love our Eagles and Flyers and Phillies and Sixers and stuff of that nature. So, but I hope y'all enjoyed this little presentation. I had to go over a little bit. As you can see, I had a lot planned to talk about on this one. But I'll have more information, and I'm gonna do a little bit more gameplay with the next ones and share a little less of the other YouTubers that I'm sharing, to make them a part of the civics. When I say politics, people get mad. When I say social studies, my son covers his ears, right? It's civics is what our civilization rights, our citizenship is what we foundational Black Americans are owed for living in this land. All this people keep pointing at us, talking about they're going to ship you back to Africa. Like, please get out of my face before I slap the poo out of you, because I know my civilization, my citizenship rights, because I have my Bible in this hand. Those are my commandments. And then I have the Constitution in my right hand, and don't worry about what else I have. You know what I'm saying? One God, our Father, art of time, hip-hop, life, love. One, as God is love, hip-hop is life. Time is holy. It's precious. It's unique. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because it's hip-hop that's the art of making the most out of life. One, God is understood. Keep studying that knowledge and wisdom. Harmony, happiness. Now that's peace.